Yeah.
An awesome God he
Got 'em.
reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God.
What is up, my friends, my friends, my friends? Welcome back to Chaotic Serenity. We're coming at you with episode number 47. Episode number 47. So, here's what I wanted to go over with y'all. And that is something out of the book of 2 Thessalonians. Okay? There's a number of things that were spoken about in 2 Thessalonians, the second letter to the church in Thessalonica. Okay? It appears, though, that one of the reasons Paul wrote this letter is because I guess different people have different opinions on the things that happen around the end times, right? The last days, if you will, in regards to topics such as the millennium, the rapture. Some people don't believe that the rapture is literally going to happen. So take everything I say with a grain of salt and go research it for yourself, right? Now, as I was saying, it appears, and I say it appears because I don't know for sure, but from what I'm able to determine, it appears that Paul taught about some event that we now refer to as the rapture, where Christ would come back to the earth in some way, shape, or form. That's what I meant to say. And he will collect all of the believers and take them off, presumably, to be with him. Okay, now in the beginning of chapter 2, verse 1 of the second letter to the Thessalonians, Paul says, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered to him, right? So he's talking about, hey, concerning the Lord coming and us being gathered to him, right? Some people try to make an argument that they're talking about being gathered up like the rapture, okay? But whatever he's talking about, he says, in regards to the coming of Jesus and our being gathered, he says, not to become easily unsettled, right, or alarmed by teaching allegedly from us, whether by prophecy or by word of mouth or letter or whatever, asserting that the day of the Lord has already come. Apparently, there was a rumor going around saying, hey, the day of the Lord has already come. And the Thessalonians appear, and I'm using logic here to put the missing pieces together, right? If Paul had never taught them that Jesus was going to physically, in some way, come back and gather believers and whisk them away, whether dead or alive, right? If Paul did not teach them that, then why would they think that the Lord has already come? Why would they care if the Lord has already come, right? That doesn't make sense to me. But if Paul had taught them, hey, at some point, Jesus is going to come and he's going to gather up all of his elect, dead or alive, and whisk them away, before the Great Tribulation or whatever. If Paul had taught that, then it would be possible for them to think, hey, what's going on? Did we miss it? How come we weren't taken too, right? I'm just saying, to me, it makes sense based on what's being said here, that Paul probably taught about some sort of what we commonly refer to as a rapture, right? But he says, don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed, okay? So again, it seems they're talking about a specific day, right? It doesn't seem like this is some vague general term to describe a period of time per se, right? It's referring to that day, like it's some set specific day, or a relatively condensed, predetermined, set period of time, that day. But then he says, that day will not come until something else happens, right? So Paul is saying, look, you can judge pretty well whether or not this day has come yet, because this other stuff must happen first. And this other stuff hasn't happened yet, quid pro quo, the last day or the day of the Lord hasn't come yet. You guys didn't miss it. So now he starts talking about this man of lawlessness, right? Who is the man doomed to destruction, right? Is this just a generic term to describe a person who rejects Christ, right? More popularly, I believe, this is a reference to the figure that we commonly refer to as the Antichrist. Okay? You may not agree with that. That's okay. I may be totally wrong. It's okay too. It says he, meaning this man of lawlessness, will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. Okay? But then Paul goes on, he says, you remember when I was with you, I used to tell you about all these things? He says the secret power of lawlessness is already at work, right? So the secret power of lawlessness, presumably the power of the enemy, the prince of this world, it's already at work in this world, right? But it's being held back to a certain degree, okay? And Paul says, one day it's not going to be held back, and the lawless one will be revealed, right? And then it says that lawless one will ultimately be overthrown by Jesus. And this is where it kind of gets interesting. It says the coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. How does Satan work? Satan comes to steal, to kill, to destroy, to lie, right? So it seems that this Antichrist, if you will, this man of lawlessness will come in accordance. So in a similar way, he'll come trying to deceive, just like the snake tried to deceive Eve in the garden and Adam, right? So what we see now, though, is that he will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders, okay? And essentially he's going to falsely convince people with all of these, we'll call them fake miracles, these acts of evil, these black magic arts, whatever you want to call it, these false miracles. And then it says, let me go back. He will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie, and all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. So here we see this man of lawlessness proclaiming and promoting a lie. He's doing these signs and wonders that serve the lie, that promote the lie, that seem to give a facade of credibility to the lie. Okay? And then we see that God says, or Paul says, that God, for this reason, because they refuse to trust in Jesus and be saved, the people, right? He's choosing to give them over to believe the lie. Okay? He's saying, look, you didn't choose Jesus when you had the chance, and now I'm going to give you over to this dude and his lies, and you're going to believe it, right? And so that all will be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness, okay? I was just reading through that this past week, a little ways before I did this video, and it just got me thinking about just the state of the world right now, and the way everything kind of appears to be headed. But hey, take it for what it's worth. I haven't gone and done like a deep dig into this. I haven't looked up a whole lot of commentaries. I haven't looked up, in a concordance what various words mean in this passage. I've just listened to enough sermons and Bible studies on this subject in the past to have a very introductory general understanding of what some of the major beliefs are surrounding this topic, right? But it's interesting stuff. It really is. So I would encourage you to go dig in, see what you can find out about it. Go do your own research. Don't rely on what I said, because what I said, a lot of it's just my opinion, right? It may not be right. So anyways, that's all I got for y'all. But thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. And until we meet again next week, deuces.